Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Banter in the Box, episode 31, game week 26 review. What a week it's been. Just 2 more days and we can meet friends and family in the garden. I've got so many visits to friends and family in gardens next week. It's unbelievable. And the weather looks like it's going to be good at the start of the week at least, which is excellent. Last weekend saw the FA Cup quarter-finals, and that meant not every Premier League team was in action this week, but there were more than 10, which as per the rules meant that last week counted for a full game week in the FFFL. The last international break of the season has started, which also meant there were no midweek games this week, and so it was a fairly low scoring week, but there were plenty of interesting changes in the FFFL table. So in this week's edition of Banter in the Box, we've got your normal league table highlights. Another entry on the wall of shame. 2 managers went into the transfer market this week, which has been the lowest for a while. Neither of them playing a tactical gambit. It would have been 3, but one manager failed miserably, hence the wall of shame. On the subject of tactical gambits, actually, we're about to come into the month of April, and April is the last month which tactical gambits can be played. As per the rules, tactical gambits cannot be played from the 1st of May onwards. So if you are thinking of making a tactical gambit, you need to do it soon or before the end of April. We've also got Lost in Translation, and I'll be doing a manager of the season update. So here is the bottom of the table, and Pez United crash 1 place to the bottom of the table in the dreaded wooden spoon position. That is Ryan Perrin's lowest position since game week 4, and that was because debut manager Ray Poulter climbed a place up to 27th, the highest that Ray has been since game week 18. Her Majesty's Secret Cervix and Dustbin Dynamos were this week's lowest scorers, both only scoring 1 point this week. I said it was a low scoring week. And in 21st place, I've got a life manager, Chris Hoxby, stayed 21st, but she did win the Manager of the Month for March award. There are no more games now this month, which is why we already know who the winner of the Manager of the Month for March is. No more games this month because of the international break. So well done, Mops. But other than the bottom 2 swapping places, there were no changes in the bottom half of the table. Top half of the table, well, no changes below 7th. But in 7th place, dropping 2 places, Thames Ironworks FC. That's the lowest position Darren's been since game week 18. The biggest fallers this week, down 3 places to 6th. Coldplay United. Martin Maloney still having his best season ever. It is only 2nd season in the Family Fantasy Football League, but as I've said before, he spent all of his debut season last season in the relegation zone. He does drop 3 places. He'll still be happy with 6th, but that's the lowest he's been since game week 20. In 5th place, Legends 23 climbed 2 places and recorded a 6th weekly win of the season. There is £10 prize money to go to the manager who gets the most weekly wins. We thought that Alexi Lagos had that sewn up, but as you can see, Nicky Saunders is now just 2 weekly wins behind, equaling Grease Lightning's weekly win total of 8. Climbing 2 places to 4th, Hatch United. That's the highest position Neil has been in since game week 19, and climbing 1 place into the prize money places in 3rd, Ted and Sam Juniors. That's the highest that Ian Sands has been since game week 15. But there are just 7 points separating 3rd from 7th. It's a battle royale for that final prize money place of 3rd. Although 2nd is still catchable. Arden Diamonds occupying that 2nd spot, the number 1 rated manager in the Family Fantasy Football League, and 40 points ahead of 3rd. Easily catchable. There's plenty of time to go, but no one is going to catch the champions-elect Grease Lightning. Alexi stretching his lead this week by 3 points. He's 160 points clear, and so far on course to break the record for the biggest ever winning margin at the end of the season. That is your league table review. Now, Wall of Shame. And those of you that have watched other episodes of Banter in the Box will know we've had loads of 13 from memory entries on the Wall of Shame this season. So many, like a rogues gallery. I couldn't fit any more photos on that slide. So I've had to start a new Wall of Shame. And this week's entry, well, it's the third manager this season to make a double entry on the Wall of Shame. Ryan Perrin and Ian Sands have already appeared twice on the Wall of Shame. And take a bow, Benny United manager Mark Benwell, the first person to appear on this season's Wall of Shame when he entered an invalid team. This week he tried to make a transfer, but the transfer he made would have left his formation 6-3-1. That's uber cautious, and Mark is an uber cautious guy, but unfortunately 6-3-1 is not a valid formation. That transfer was null and void, and so Mark makes his second appearance on the Wall of Shame this season. And Mark, believe me, buddy, I searched and searched. That is the best photo on Facebook that I could find of you. Now, lost in translation. A few weeks ago, I talked about I've Got a Life manager, Mops Hoxby, when she sent me a text asking to transfer in Criminal of Man United. There isn't a player called Criminal who plays for Manchester United. She actually meant Scott McTominay. Don't ask me how she made criminal out of that. And this week, well, Mops has been at it again. This is a conversation that happened over text between Lyndon's Lovely's manager, Joe Hoxby, and I've Got a Life manager, Mops Hoxby. The conversation started with Joe saying, "Hi Chris, just spoke to Jeff. Can we pop over Good Friday?" Mops replied, "Of course, it would be lovely to see you. Shall friendly food?" To which Joe replied, "You been drinking again?" And Mops replied, "No, new glasses. I meant to say, shall I do friendly food?" To which Joe replied, "What's friendly food?" Fair enough question. And Mops responded, "Food that you can all eat, Xbox." And then Mops said, "Forget about the box, changing my glasses now. Lol." To which Joe replied, "Oh right, yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, Xbox." Lord knows what Mops is going on about, loving the fact that she still refuses to use punctuation in any of her messages. But that made me laugh. So one manager of the season point to Lyndon's Lovely's manager, Joe Hoxby, for sending me that material. And one manager of the season point to Mops Hoxby just for being hilarious. Love you, mummy. So, this was last week's manager of the season question, a who the fuck is that? And it was a 2-point answer. You had to tell me which current Family Fantasy Football League manager is pictured there. And for a bonus point, what are they holding? Just 2 managers had a go at this week. Benny United manager Mark Benwell thought that was a picture of Lyndon's Lovely's manager Joe Hoxby holding something she made. Well, I can tell you, Mark, that something she made wouldn't have been enough to get you a bonus point. I'm looking for you to be more specific than that, buddy. But it wasn't actually a picture of Lyndon's Lovely's manager Joe Hoxby, so no points to you. The other manager who had a guess, Hatch United manager Neil Hatch. He thought that was a picture of Megan Hoxlade Chamberlain manager Megan Hoxby holding a koala. Well, she does live in Australia, but unfortunately, Neil, that was also an incorrect answer. It does mean that this is rolling over to next week. This who the fuck is that question is rolling over to next week. And because it's a rollover, I'm doubling the points. So you will now get 2 manager of the season points if you can tell me which current FFFL manager is pictured there. And for 2 bonus points, what are they holding? If you can tell me those 2 things, you can earn 4 manager of the season points. Talking of manager of the season, this is the current manager of the season table. Mops Hoxby climbing up to joint 8th with the manager of the season point that she earned. and Joe Hoxby stretching her lead at the top to 3 points, thanks to giving me that material earlier. And she said she'd only give it to me if I gave her a manager of the season point, which is ruthless. But there you go. She's desperate to earn that free tactical gambit to use next season. But she's only 3 points ahead. There's still a long way to go. Definitely catchable. And of course, those of you that took part in the Predictor Challenge at the start of the season could earn 25 Manager of the Season points at the end of the season if all of your predictions came true. And if you didn't enter the Predictor Challenge at the start of the season, shame on you. So that is it for this week. Just a reminder, if you didn't see last week's Banter in the Box, due to a quick swatting up of the government guidelines on the roadmap out of COVID, I realised that it wouldn't be possible to hold the end of season presentation awards on the planned date at the beginning of June, because we wouldn't have been able to have everyone over. The restrictions limited to less than 30 people outside, all things being equal, and that's not enough if everyone attends. So we've moved the Family Fantasy Football League presentation awards back until Saturday, the 3rd of July, kick-off 3 p.m. It's at FFFL HQ, and the restrictions end, fingers crossed, thinking positive, the restrictions end, all being equal, on the 21st of June from memory. So 3rd of July will be very soon after those restrictions have gone, and everyone that turns up will be getting a massive hug from me. I'll be in hug overdrive. It's so long since I've hugged anyone, other than Joe, but she's got hairy feet and I'm looking for some non-hairy footed hugs. Can't wait. That's it for this week, guys. It's an international break, as I said earlier, so no update next week. So no Banter in the Box next week. So it'll be 2 weeks until episode 32 of Banter in the Box with a Game Week 27 review. And remember, over the next 2 weeks, each manager only gets one guess at the who the fuck is that question. So don't go too early. But until then, stay safe. Enjoy meeting your friends and family in the garden. Have a fantastic Easter. And bye-bye.